Okay, so let's jump right in. In pretty much every major industry, you've got these two worlds that exist side by side. On one hand, you have academic research, full of incredible data and proven theories. And on the other, you have industry practice, which is all about real-world problems and tight deadlines. What's absolutely wild is how rarely these two worlds actually talk to each other. And that gap? Well, it's costing companies millions, sometimes even billions. That's what we're digging into today.
And this quote, it just nails it. It's from Sonjai Kumar, a risk management pro with 30 years of experience who recently started his own journey into academic research. He thinks of these two worlds as two shores of a river. Each shore is littered with these incredible treasures, these pearls, that the other side desperately needs, but they don't even know are there.
So yeah, that's really the heart of this whole thing. A tale of two worlds. It's a story about missed connections, about so much untapped potential, and the huge opportunity that's just waiting for someone to build a bridge between them.
Now, to really get this, you have to appreciate where our source is coming from. I mean, imagine spending 3 whole decades deep in the trenches of corporate risk management. Then, in 2020, while you're still working your day job, you start a formal PhD. All of a sudden, you've got a foot in both worlds, right? And it's that unique perspective that really uncovered just how deep this disconnect goes.
And look, this isn't just some interesting academic idea. This gap has real, tangible, and super high-stakes consequences. When the industry ignores what the research has already proven, the results can be absolutely catastrophic for huge companies.
All over the globe, regulators are basically sounding the alarm. In 2022, for instance, the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority sent a letter to all general insurance companies calling out major weaknesses they were seeing in risk management. So this isn't some theoretical problem, it's a systemic failure that's happening right now.
87 million pounds. Just let that sink in for a second. That is a huge number. It's the price tag for a massive failure in risk management. But what exactly went wrong?
Well, this was the biggest fine the UK's Prudential Regulation Authority had ever handed out. It went to Credit Suisse for what they called significant failures in risk management and governance. You just can't get a clearer link between weak risk practices and painful, expensive penalties.
So here's the kicker, the real aha moment. While companies are paying out these insane fines, the solutions to their problems are often just sitting there, hiding in plain sight, published in academic journals that practitioners just aren't reading.
This is the incredible part. I mean, what if I told you that for the last 2 decades, the academic world has been statistically proving the benefits of this holistic approach called enterprise risk management, or ERM? The research is there, the data is crystal clear, but that knowledge just isn't making it across the river to the people who need it most.
And we can actually put a number on this. For example, one study looked at 41 European insurers and found that when companies properly implement ERM, the very thing regulators are warning them about, their shareholder value went up by a very significant 6.5%.
And it's not just about increasing value, it's about reducing risk. Another study found that when companies adopted ERM, their overall riskiness dropped by 14%. This is the proof that good risk management isn't just a cost center. It's a real strategic asset. And this is the key takeaway right here. When you can put a dollar figure on something like ERM, it suddenly stops being just a boring, box-ticking chore you do for regulators. It becomes a powerful, strategic investment that shareholders can get excited about. It transforms risk management from a defense mechanism into a proactive, value-creating engine for the whole company.
Okay, so that's the why. It's pretty compelling, but that brings us to the next big question, the how. If all this knowledge exists, how would we actually build the bridge to get it from theory into everyday practice? Well, the amazing thing is, academics haven't just been writing papers about this stuff. They've actually built practical tools. There are established indexes and scales out there designed to systematically measure how well a company is doing at risk management. The blueprints are already drawn up. Here's a fantastic example. It's called the MERMI Index. It's a really simple but powerful idea. Researchers just go through a company's annual report and give it a score based on how it talks about risk. Do they mention it at all? Nope. That's a 0. Do they talk about it in some vague, fluffy way? Okay, that's a 1. Or do they actually back it up with hard numbers and quantitative data? Boom, that's a 2. It creates this clear, objective way to measure and track how a company is doing over time. When you lay it all out like this, the whole disconnect just seems kind of absurd, doesn't it? It's a perfect partnership waiting to happen. Academics have the rigorous methods and the proven tools, but they need real-world data and problems. And industry? Well, they're swimming in real-world data and problems, but they need the rigorous methods and tools. Each side is literally holding the key to the other's biggest challenges. So what does this integrated future actually look like? Well, it's where we move beyond just talking about potential and start actually creating value. It's about solving some of the industry's toughest, most persistent problems by finally connecting the people who have those problems with the people who have the proven solutions. And just look at some of these opportunities. How do you actually measure something as fuzzy as risk culture? How do you prove that your chief risk officer is actually effective, or prove the value of your entire risk team? And how do you tie their pay to how well they perform? I mean, these are massive unsolved problems in the industry, and they are absolutely perfect for these kinds of partnerships. Here's the bottom line. Building this bridge isn't just some nice-to-have idea. For any company that's serious about its future, this is an absolute game changer. It's about getting a real competitive edge by tapping into this huge, unused library of knowledge to solve the very problems that keep executives up at night. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. You know, this story was about risk management and insurance, but you see this exact same pattern everywhere. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What valuable knowledge, what pearls, are sitting on the shore of research in your field, just waiting for someone like you to come and pick them up? What's out there, ready to be unlocked?